Hi, everyone, and welcome to Luxurynsight podcast in partnership with fashionnetwork.com. This is Jonathan Siboni. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Luxurynsight. Today, we have the pleasure and honor to welcome one of the most experienced and respected experts in the luxury industry, Christian Blanckaert. Christian is the former president of the Comité Colbert and former vice president of Hermès International. He will share his vision of the luxury industry and its evolution. So stay tuned and have a lot of fun.
Good day, everyone. For our latest podcast, we're going to be interviewing one of France's greatest luxury men, Christian Blanckaert. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning.
Christian has had a very brilliant career, everything from running Petit Bateau to Hermès to advising politicians to writing books to being a pure expression of French luxury. So let's begin at the beginning. I know you went to one of the great schools here, SC.
I was teaching there.
You taught there. But how did you begin your education and led you into luxury?
No, my education was not in luxury. My education was in heavy industry. I was for many times head of Bricorama, and then I was with Thomson. I was selling washing machine, and I spent most of my life in electronic, in TV, and importing video from Japan. So in fact, I had nothing to do with luxury. Nothing to do. This is why I went to luxury, I guess, by pure accident.
What was your first step?
In luxury?
Yeah.
At Comité Colbert. I was hired as a specialist of washing machine at the Comité Colbert, which is a very funny paradox.
Well, yes, it's the as people may not know, but it's the organization
it's
which
an
groups
organization
together.
Which put together 70 luxury brands, and I was in charge of what we call President Délégué, which means delegate president, in charge of organizing the actions in the world of all the 70 companies in which you have Louis Vuitton, Boucheron, Hermès, Chanel, etc., and all of them. So I went all over the world, lobbying, acting, organizing things. It was in fact very professional, very professional.
What year was that?
That was from 1988 to 1996 I did that.
Which was when I first met you, when I was
when
at
we
Women's
met,
Wear
absolutely.
Daily. I used to come
we
along.
met in New York, or I don't know where.
Or your presentations
Yes.
issued annually announce things to Comité Colbert. It's a very pure expression of France, though, a luxury.
It is an expression of France, absolutely. The French have an expression of luxury. The Italians have another expression of luxury.
After that, what's the difference?
The difference is that, first of all, in France, you have big groups of luxury which are very, very powerful, like LVMH or Kering, big names, big groups. In Italy, they never succeeded in organizing themselves in groups. So, but they have, of course, good names, but it's not the same luxury. It's a different style, different, some weaknesses in Italy also in companies like Ferragamo, or even Prada. They have ups and downs. They're more structured from a financial and economical point of view in France than in Italy. But you have some strong family companies in Italy also. So like Furla, like some companies like that, very strong.
After Comité Colbert, where did you go? To Hermès?
To Hermès, direct.
Yes. And you became what?
I became, in fact, CEO of Hermès Cellier, which was grouping most manufacturing aspect of Hermès plus the commercial activities in France. So it was very big at the time in 1996. Then I became Directeur Général, General Vice President, Executive Vice President in charge of the development of Hermès in the world. So I had two jobs, in fact.
And it went on to enjoy a long period of explosive growth.
Yes, it was only a period of growth, and in fact it was a fantastic period with Jean-Louis Dumas, of course, who was the head of the company and my boss and my friend.
And who had an extremely fertile imagination.
Jean-Louis had a fertile imagination. That's the least you can say. Jean-Louis was at the time a poet, and an épicier. He said, I am a poet and an épicier. It means in English, I am a poet, but also sort of selling ties. He was a commerçant. He was selling. We always thought at Hermès we were commerçants. I mean, selling products, selling ties, selling scarves. Myself, very often at Christmas time, you could see me selling.
In the main boutique, in the flagship.
Yes, in the store. We had a long period of growth and a long period of fun.
One thing that always struck me about Hermès, or Jean-Louis above all, was the ability to stretch the definition of luxury. Because luxury at the time, 30 years ago, was still a kind of very formal, fuddy-duddy thing.
Well, in fact, things have changed because when I joined the luxury world, it was coded. Everything was coded. People want to look like others, you know.
Yes.
In Japan, it was incredible. I mean, everybody in the Shinkansen had the same bag, Louis Vuitton, in general. And in France, everybody wanted the Kelly bag. And, people like to look like others. Then it changed completely. With Jean-Louis understood that, making new advertising campaigns, new creativity, new type of creativity. And today it's incredibly different. Today there is no code. Everything can be shared. You can buy a very famous product from Hermès or from any other company and switch it with an Off-White product or a Supreme product, baskets with the Kelly bag. Everything goes together from a code situation. We are now, and Jean-Louis understood that, in an individualist situation. Everybody wants to look for himself, not for others. So that's a big change in terms of behavior and understanding of the luxury world. A huge change. And if you see Virgin Abloh creator at Louis Vuitton today, it was impossible 10 years ago. And if you see what Chanel is doing with Terrell Williams, you just think that it was just not conceivable even 5 years ago. So every big brand, and Jean-Louis understood that with the scarves. The scarves was very coded, and Jean-Louis Dumas, suddenly understood that you could wear a scarf with a jean, with a basket, going to the sea, Jean-Louis understood that, and it gave to Hermès a sort of big power of change, which made the success of the brand.
One thing I remember, one of the first times I met him was he had come back from Brazil and he'd gone to visit some primitive tribe called the Yanomami, name like that. And he came back in, they had made rubber, this completely pure, transparent rubber, and he made a Kelly bag, or a series of Kelly's bags out of rubber. I don't know if they sold it, but I remember thinking, that was revolutionizing the raw material of it.
You are absolutely right. It was one of the big experience we had.
Yeah.
Jean-Louis thought that leather would not be forever, and that he sent a team of 2 persons in Amazonia, and to buy some what we call rubber sheets.
Yes.
And we bought plenty of rubber sheets. I was in charge at the time. So Jean-Louis, I never argued with Jean-Louis on imagination and creation. I always was in a management position. So we bought the sheets of rubber. And you saw everybody in the factory, manufacturing Kelly bag and Birkin bag with this rubber. And I still have one, I must say. The problem was that the rubber suddenly, in some places where it was very hot and humid, had some problems.
Yeah.
So some reactive problems. So Jean-Louis and we decided to stop the rubber experience. But doesn't matter. It was a fantastic innovation experience. Okay. Innovation, in fact, is a motto, okay? Not only creation, innovation. And that was a pure innovation strategy.
I love it. That was one of the earliest steps in luxury in, I suppose, sustainability, in creating a renewable resource that was different. That's the big buzzword today. How do you think fashion and luxury has approached the idea of sustainability?
Yes, I know sustainability is very à la mode, okay? is everybody talks about it. So caring is working for women, and everybody is LVMH doing a lot. Hermès also has a Hermès Foundation. Everybody is concerned. In fact, the question is, what can we do? I mean, the reason of that is that luxury means also generosity. Nobody can escape from the idea that high prices, luxury product, sometimes too high prices, sometimes luxury products are much too expensive. They can provocate reactions which are negative reactions. So the compensation of the reaction is in sustainability. It means in doing something for the planet, participate to the world. In fact, no company, no brand today can escape from the idea of talking to people, of engaging, encouraging, and being generous. That is the main idea. So whatever you do in that direction is excellent. Look at what happened with Notre Dame de Paris, with the bird. Immediately you had two luxury companies like Arnault and Pinault who gave a lot of money to, and this is sustainability in a way. This is normal.
Yes, but do you think it's a buzzword, it's just a PR project, or do people really genuinely?
No, I don't think it's a PR project. I think it's a very important project. And I think we will see in the next future to go much further in that direction, much further. Some prices are shocking people. And today, luxury doesn't mean expensive. Today can mean also affordable. We talk a lot about affordable luxury, which means quality and affordable. And the Italians are good for that, better than the French. Every company should think about that. Affordable, looking for many, many customers, but in a way that a lot of people can be welcome in the store and on internet.
We're both sufficiently mature that we lived in the era before the internet, before social media, before even emails, when you would send faxes and even telexes. How do you think fashion has approached, or luxury has approached, the digital era? In France, there's an opinion that it was relatively slow, and luxury brands are very slow and very cautious and hesitant to go into. But how do you think they've performed?
First of all, I'm sorry to disappoint you a little bit on that. I didn't believe I thought it was dangerous at the beginning. When it started, I was there. Okay, I was not of that culture of internet myself. I mean culture. Okay, it's a cultural attitude. I was scared. Was I scared? My scare is where the dream can disappear. My scare is when everything is transparent. I'm very scared of transparency, excessive transparency, where everything can be said, everything can be shown. There is, in the definition of luxury, a part of mystery. You have sometimes to touch the product, to touch the skin, to touch, to smell, and this has nothing to do with internet. So, at all. It is the opposite of internet and social media. So, for luxury, my definition of luxury is that the store will remain a pleasure of experience, a pleasure of being there, a pleasure of meeting people, a pleasure of talking to the salespeople, a pleasure of understanding the heritage of the brand. And internet is not so easy about it. But of course, I must be realistic, as you. And even if it's not my culture, no luxury brand can escape from internet. But with a lot of imagination to come, to make it as beautiful as we think. And it is not done for the moment. It is not done. A lot has to be done. Otherwise, the risk is that the definition of luxury can disappear. No mystery. Everything is transparent. You know everything. You don't touch. No, I don't believe in that.
We live in an era of algorithms. That's the big word people talk about, and an increasing fear of algorithms and anger about them, that the big internet companies now know too much about us. But is that a justifiable fear?
No, for me it's a big fear.
Yeah.
I think the social media are extremely dangerous. Everybody can say whatever he likes, whenever he likes, and there is no obstacle. So the rumors can spread all over the world in 2 minutes. You can say negative, positive. So to live with that, frankly, is a nightmare. I think social media are a nightmare for that, from that point of view. Algorithms are part of the system where now you know everything on everybody. I remember when I was in the store and somebody had what we call CRM, the word for knowing everything on you. And
customer
management, report management, or something like that. A sort of interesting bullshit story, okay? CRM. So absolutely poison. So especially when it's not well used. So the sales associate came to see the customer. He was with a very nice lady, and he told him, it was in a very good luxury brand company, very famous. And he told him, "Oh, you bought this jacket already in San Francisco." It was in London. And then he didn't buy it for his wife, but for somebody else. I don't know who was she. So he was extremely embarrassed. So CRM was a catastrophe, So before, at least, you didn't know anything about your customer, only what you hear from them, or if you know physically. But you didn't know what he bought 2 years ago or 2 days ago in San Francisco when he was living in New York. Now you know. So it's a disaster, It's a total disaster, if used like this.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it's the biggest marketing tool in the world now, algorithms, basically.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I mean, I'll give you an example of why people might be afraid. The other day I had a text exchange for Facebook. Somebody asked me, Godfrey, because I lived in Italy, I speak Italian, I'm a fashion guy. They wanted some recommendations of hotels and restaurants.
Sure.
And I recommend them, and then I get bombarded with ads. They clearly read, someone or some machine or algorithm had read my private conversation.
I hate that. It's awful.
You know what I mean? Then my Facebook page became this thing, which I thought I was being used as some sort of marketing. Sure. Data mining, we're here with our partners, Luxurynsight, who we're doing this joint venture in these podcasts. And people talk about artificial intelligence, data mining. What do you think the future is there?
Well, first of all, I'm very interested in understanding what it means, because I don't know what exactly artificial intelligence will mean for luxury. I think that in this nomadic world where we are now, where everybody travels all the time, we'll come back the time for heaven places. And in fact, the future of stores or places, I don't know if it will be stores, but it will be heaven. It will be places where you can rest, where you can escape. It's just like ties. Nobody wears ties. You don't have ties. I don't have ties. But ties will come back. One day, everybody wants to be à la mode. And la mode will be exactly the opposite of what la mode is today. So ties will come back, okay? Of course. And the same for heavens. Will come back the time where you want to go to the store, you forget about internet, and etc. And artificial intelligence will help you to understand, will help us to understand the need for what we mean a new innovation activity in our places. We have places all over the world where we sell luxury brands. What we will do with the stores, what we will do with those locations. This is a fantastic opportunity for innovation and intelligent. What will look like the stores in 20 years selling luxury brands? I don't know, but I'm sure it will be with fun, with it will be warm, it will be, and that is what the intelligent artificial will say.
It will sell that.
I think so.
Once again, when we began, there's no such thing as Chinese luxury consumer. There were no Chinese consumers, basically, talking about 30 years ago. It didn't exist. It
did not exist.
we're of the time before even Mr. Deng Xiaoping, unleashed the market, and we've seen this revolution economically, maybe not politically, but economically.
Yes.
And China has become now the single biggest market for LVMH, even bigger than America, and the most recent, last year or two. Yeah. So, how do you see Chinese consumers changing their tastes and their habits, and how do you see them influencing creativity in luxury?
It is a very interesting question. I've been many, many times to China, and I have the chance to talk to a lot of Chinese with an interpreter. It is the only country in the world where I met people, young women, young lady, very young, making such a financial effort to buy a luxury product, like saving every month $100 for 2 or 3 years to buy a bag which costs 2 or 3 times her salary. Yeah. So I tried to. It's the only country in the world where I saw that. Yeah. So in fact, the luxury brand for them, the reason was that it was a way to. There are 2 reasons. One, it was a passport for a business growth, for a business promotion
of themselves,
to show that they were capable to access with a brand to a certain social level. Yeah. That's what they explained to me. Yeah. And the second reason, which is so important in China, you don't understand China if you don't understand the Cultural Revolution. The parents have suffered terribly, and the grandparents and the grandparents. So it's a revenge against what happened to the families and to them. In both cases, to wear a European brand, expensive, shows that they are coming back to the world of success and participate to their own growth. That was the reason in China.
In the beginning?
At the beginning. Now, it is different. Now, the luxury word in China is the most important word in the planet. I mean, the Chinese consumer is number 1. Just because we are leaving the word of look-alike to the word of look to me. And even in China, it comes. So the young Chinese, who are very rich, by the way, because of the unique child. So never forget that the reason why we have young customer in China, very rich, it is the place where they are the richest in the world. The Chinese young people of 20 years old. It's just because the unique child has parents and grandparents, and he's the only one who heritages from them. So he has a lot of money. And for that money, he wants to buy luxury worldwide brand. So for a long time, it will remain like that.
A
long time.
As I am a Benjamin of 6 enfants, 6 kids in Ireland, so I know the exact opposite.
The exact opposite is in Ireland, but in France also, when you have 4 sisters and brothers.
Famille nombreuse.
Exactly. No family nombreuse in Europe. Only families nombreuses in Europe. Only 1 child in China. Very rich child. And awfully educated. Very arrogant and very difficult.
Here, where is this?
Well, in China. They want everything now, everything immediately. Ask the store managers. Very difficult.
Does it concern you that the internet millennial era, who want everything so quickly and who want a casual culture, are destroying the idea of elegance?
Today, the definition of elegance is completely different from what it was 10 years ago. Yeah. Elegance 10 years ago was 1 dress, 1 pair of shoes. It was a sort of uniform, is all uniform, but always together. Today, the definition of elegance is the opposite. Today, you have a basket shoes, sneakers, and a dress from Chanel, no problem, okay? You can wear a Kelly bag with a hat from Off-White, no problem. So the definition of elegance has deviated to your own idea of elegance. So it's good in a way, because it is a demonstration of what is the most important in the luxury world today, is freedom. freedom to wear what you like, freedom not to have a tie when you are a banker, freedom to have sneakers when you are going to a party. It was very funny. The other day I went to a party, very chic party at Musée Pompidou, for a dinner, very expensive dinner where you had people buying a table at 10,000 euros a table. It's a charity dinner, okay?
Yeah. Which one?
It was at Musée Pompidou.
Okay.
And you saw many young men and women with sneakers. Absolutely. Sneakers, tie, a dress, women with a dress from Gucci and sneakers from Supreme. No problem. So that is elegance today.
I worked for a man.
It's not coded again.
I worked for a man called John Fairchild. You remember him, of course.
Yes, I remember.
He was.
Did. Yes, I remember you.
Yeah, who was the Ayatollah de la mode.
Yes,
he was before Anna Wintour. He was the Pope of fashion.
Yes, he was.
And he always taught me that the true test of a designer is not the printing or the fabric; it's cut and line, if they are really a truly designer. And if you look at the casualization, if you look at all the brands you mentioned, Off-White, Supreme, all these new Guards brands, there's not one designer among them. No one, they can't cut a suit. There's no sense of silhouette about the thing.
No.
Yeah. Don't you think that in the end is destroying some artistic idea of elegance?
I'm not sure with the young people.
Yeah.
You take, for example, Moncler, okay?
Yeah.
They have imaginated something called genius.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know very well because I know Moncler. So in genius, you have 7 or 8 creators, okay?
Yeah.
One from Japan, one from America, one from Italy, Ireland, etc. Okay?
Yeah.
I know Fujiwara, who I've studied Fujiwara. Hiroshi Fujiwara, who is a Japanese creator. And I've seen what he does, what he did for Moncler and for others, among other creators. I cannot say it's elegant from my point of view.
Yeah.
But my point of view is not valid very much. I mean, if you see that people of 20 years old in Japan or in America love that, it is their way to be elegant. So, in fact, the freedom of the definition of elegance, you cannot give a definition of elegance. Everybody has his own elegance today, and there is no general elegance. It disappears. The general elegance, which we understood, disappears.
What do you think the next big thing in fashion and luxury will be?
Well, the next big thing in fashion will be the fact that some brands will die.
Yeah.
Some brands will happen to escape, and some brands. Today, the world is divided in 2: the winners and the losers. In the middle of luxury, I'm talking luxury. The leaders, big brands, and the losers.
Who are the losers then?
The losers are some very famous brands who have not taken the train of innovation enough so quickly, and who suffers an immense lot. They are Italian, they are French, they are whatever you like. And tomorrow, you will ups and downs in the brands. You will have new brands. In fact, the time has come for new brands, new innovation. It's good because for many, many years, the world of luxury was captured by brands which look like eternal. And one lesson I learned from Jean-Louis Dumas is that no brand is eternal. Some brand can die. And you have brands who were famous in 1935 or 1950 who died, or who died completely. If you take what I did, the participants of Comité Colbert in 1954, 1960, 1968, most of them you don't know their names.
Well, I have to say, if you look at the history of any industry, let's say in 1919, right after the war ended, whatever, it's car industry, steel industry, or building companies, or
electronic industry,
or whiskies, or alcohol, I mean, they're practically all changed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And why not in luxury?
Yes, but luxury is the one thing where the dominant idea is they do have legacy. Everyone tells you that every luxury brand I know is always having a 75th anniversary or 100th anniversary. Hermès have anniversaries practically every year. They find some reason. You know what I mean?
For some of them, but very few.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to finish on is there's a kind of unique French skill. I speak as an Irishman who's lived in Italy and New York and in Paris and London, in the great luxury capitals, that the French have of la marque, the brand.
Yes.
They just seem a bit better at thinking about it, managing it, feeding it, maintaining it. Why is that?
I think the French have a culture. I think the importance of the kings in France, which is a very difficult democracy, especially today, has never been so important in terms of culture. I mean, Louis XIV is still, Versailles is still there, museums are fantastic. France has a chance, incredible chance, is to have a history which is really impressive in the world today. That's the first reason. The second reason is that France had philosophers, writers, and still the siècle des Lumières, as we say. It's a territory, France, of liberty, of freedom, of free speech, free behavior. And those arguments, in fact, are digested consciously or unconsciously, both by the customers of the word and by the brand creators or brand innovators. France has also always is a ground to welcome foreigners.
Yes.
And this, I hope, will remain forever. Because there is no creator who is only French in the luxury world. They are coming from everywhere, and I hope it will remain from everywhere. Because this country, which is our country, my country, is a ground for freedom, tolerance of artists, and historically, but permanently. And I think this is the real reason why we have luxury brands, and that we could have, again, more luxury brands tomorrow.
Christian Blanckaert, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Me too, Geoffrey.
We've barely scratched the surface. We could talk on another hour, and we'll probably do that over a good lunch
soon. Nice
soon.
to have met you again.
Nice to see you.